Hello, Joanna.
Hello.
Yes, can you please turn on your camera?
1 second. Okay. All right.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Good. You?
Yeah, doing great, thank you. And before going to start your session, I want to introduce you to our audience, Joanna.
Okay.
Mhm. Joanna Sroka is a product engineer, inventor, and futurist with expertise across computer science, data analytics, and artificial intelligence. And she is a founder of Ecostria, where she develops nature aligned advanced technologies. She specializes in building MVPs for startups, combining software, hardware, AI, embedded systems, cybersecurity, and renewable energy design to turn innovative ideas into real world solutions. Driven by curiosity and experimentation, she focuses on creating future forward technologies that benefit both people and the planet. That was a great bio. You have done a really great job, Joanna, and the stage is all yours.
Thank you. I just want to say, going off of that, happy World Engineering Day for Sustainable Development. I just found this out from an IEEE former chair member, Rhonda, my girl. So happy World Engineering Day. And it's very coincidentally that I'm talking about engineering and sustainability as well. So further ado, yes, hi, my name is Joanna Sroka, and today I'll be talking about tech thingies and sustainability, going through it with an inventor's mindset. So, have you ever wondered how, not why, but how? Like, how is this made? How does this work? And how does it do that? How is it created? Well, we're going to be focused on having this mindset throughout nature influenced technology. And I hope at the end of this presentation, you will leave with asking how to with everything. And anybody can be an inventor. Okay, so why do I want to talk about this today is because I might not have a PhD yet. I might not have wrote a book, but I'm doing this because it's kind of like my life's work, my ikichai or something like that. Kind of screwed that up, but I need to share it because I think we need more inventors, and especially in technologies like renewable energy. So, about me is I'm trying to create and build my own incubator now, as well as started my own company called Ecostria for quality living in the renewable and bioenergy industry. And here are just some pictures of me in NYT ETIC. It's an incubator, and it's one of the incubators in America where they're under contract with NASA in the T2X program. So we build prototypes for NASA, and I just love mentoring and I love showcasing technology. Further ado, why am I talking about this today? Is because we are dissociated. We are mindlessly separated from the ecosystem. We believe in exceptionalism, the belief that we do not need to be under the same rule or law as other species on this planet. We believe that we are exempt under Mother Nature's house, and we forget that we're also animals, right? Every day you wake up, you don't tell yourself, oh yeah, I'm also another animal on this planet. No. So we forget that we're connected, right? We're evolved with the highest cognitive intelligence. We have our thumbs, right? That is deadly. Intelligence and thumbs, right? So we're the only species to make styling and clothing, cultures, and we also unfortunately have the ability to terminate any other species. We're very powerful. Last time, I think a month ago, I went to a museum, and there used to be a museum of nature and extinct animals, and there used to be 1 billion birds that would go over and cover the sky like an eclipse and make shadows everywhere. And we've people back then made it from 1 billion to 0. So there used to be thousands of birds that would cover the sky and create night, and now we just put them to 0, which I think is just very powerful and very interesting. So we forget that all our energy and technology comes from the laws of the universe, right? Our medicine comes from the planet, right? There's science and medicine. I'm also my other hobby is herbology. So if you combine honey and garlic, that is like the most big immunity booster, for example. All right, so there's problems everywhere. Take a few seconds to look at this picture and figure out what problems there are. So the first thing you can see is that there's a fallen trash can. And we have a problem where there's like fallen trash cans everywhere. You turn a corner and you hit a car, you hit a trash can with your car. So how do we solve that? Should we put a Roomba under it, without the vacuum, put a couple wires, a servo motor, some GPS sensor, something to go back into your driveway or something, right? This has been a problem for years. Potholes too. Potholes have been a problem for years. We got roadkill, unnecessary roadkill, right? That's habitat fragmentation. We are causing species to be inbred by restricting them to travel, and that can cause diseases in the ecosystem. So we're just making life unhealthy. Yes. We can also see that there are chemtrails in the sky. That's not natural. I haven't seen those when I was a kid, but there's so many more now, and it's not coming from a plane. Those disappear. These are chemtrails, and they're not necessarily natural. The next thing you can see is LED lights. I'm sure everyone has noticed now that all cars have LEDs, the new ones, and you can't see when you're driving in the night because the other car in front of you is beaming you with your LED lights. So very dangerous, but at least they're energy efficient, but they also have a bad side. So everything here has a good side and a bad side, which we'll go into it later. So the art of dependency. We are dependent, right? We are dependent on on-grid energy sources, everybody. Are you prepared if the power goes out? Are you prepared about how to create a radio from scraps? Are you prepared how to filter water, right? We are phone zombies and we're doing scrolling every day. We are dependent on our phones and dependent on media, right? It's very difficult to disconnect and become disciplined these days, right? You go to the gym, you become disciplined, and you get the muscle or body that you like. We also don't own any media now as well, right? Do we want to become the next Alexandria's library, right? Everything is subscription. Do you actually own records or movies? No, we are under subscription like Netflix and stuff like that. So we are very on-grid energy dependent. We have to realize. All right. So Nikola Tesla once said that when wireless technology is perfectly applied, the whole earth will be converted into a huge brain. And the goat is not wrong because now the world is smaller and connected and has become a brain, right? We have 5G now, we have geo towers, so it's like very connected, like he predicted. The picture on the left, I actually went to the Tesla Science Center in New York in Wardcliffe. It was very interesting. I recommend you guys go experience the Tesla Science Center. And the picture on the bottom is Tesla sitting right next to his Tesla coil. All right, so sustainable technology, right? We have the ability to harness all free energy around us, right? Is there anything that we have undiscovered? Did we not discover any energy or equation or formulas of this world that we didn't think about? Right? All inventions are created from the laws of nature. Wind, water, a magnet that goes through a coil creates electricity, and solar, right? We wouldn't exist without energy, oxygen, or the laws of nature, right? Everything is interconnected. All right. So everything is interconnected, right? We have made a plasma ball just by looking at lightning and the aurora borealis, right? How does that work? Is when energy hits some noble gases, changes colors, and creates beautiful lightning energy and colors, but depending on the noble gas. But we have neon signs now, so everything is mimicked by nature. We do. Right, so it's called biomimicry. Velcro, well-known invention made by George, right? He saw the burrs sticking into his dog's fur after a walk in the woods, right? The burrs stuck into the dog and they have hooks. So that led him to discover Velcro, which is velvet and crochet. Another thing there was a problem when trains exited tunnels at high speeds. They caused loud noises and pressure waves. So by studying the shape of the kingfisher's beak, engineers redesigned the train and solved the problem to reduce air resistance and eliminating the tunnel boom. Very interesting. Okay. All right. The B-2 stealth bomber, right, was influenced by the peregrine falcon. Very beautiful, very aerodynamic, influenced just by this bird. All right. Other things, right? Gecko's feet were inspired by making adhesives, right? The sticky things of the gecko's feet, as well as you can see in Zimbabwe, they built an entire building off of the influence of the termite houses. So the termite mounds designed natural ventilation in the center of Harare, Zimbabwe. All right, so here's another few things, right? A lot of a lot of tech, bio, mechanical, all experienced, all influenced by nature. All right, so I don't need to explain this, right? It's a dog, robot dog. We all sing this today. But the question is, why didn't they do any other species? Why did they do humans and dogs? Why can't they do a weird thing like a humanoid with 4 arms, right? So it's all inspired by nature and organisms. All right. Music is energy, sound is energy, acoustics, music becomes geometry. This is a cool little thing that I wanted to show you a video of, but I can't do it on the PDF. But if you go to Art Insider, if you look up a video of someone making music, and it affects water, it affects the vibrations affect any particles, like he has on the left side couscous, but also you can do DJs do it with sand or with water, and different energy, different sounds become different geological shapes. So we have to wonder, can we make an equation of that? Can a music become an equation to make a geological shape, right? We have algebra, and so how can we kind of make music about that, right? I think Mozart had that idea, right? His music created such different energy that would affect us. Does it affect us cellularly, right? Can music affect you cellularly to a cellular level? Or, there's a lot of, I'm just thinking right now, but yeah, it makes you think. All right. I want to say the importance of Moore's law. It shows how technological advancement are exponentially growing, right? We are able to go from wired phones to smartphones within a decade with more power, right? The transistors, the RAM, all gotten smaller and more powerful. Everything like smart TVs, cars, we used to have like chunky computers, and now it's very thin and more powerful. So now we have to wonder, are we progressing more than we can handle, or are we progressing more than the world can handle? Because not all of the world is up to date, especially with AI, right? Not everybody around the world even know what AI was. There are people around the world that are still back in time a little bit. So this is a very ethical concept here. And I want to go into the art of balance. So that ties into this, right? Manufacturing processes of modern technology demand excessive resource extraction, especially with AI now. All RAM is more expensive, right? This includes minerals like lithium, cobalt for batteries, rare earth elements for electronics, and significant volumes of water, especially for data centers and AI. I work at Zebra right now as an AI engineer. Zebra as in barcodes. So I know what it's like to try to solve some AI problems right now. We're using a lot of water. Why can't we use something else? I'm trying to figure out all these things. Neighborhoods around data centers are running out of water because data centers are using too much. So, right, this is like a yin and yang relationship. We have a tool that is very great, but also has a negative effect. So these activities lead to habitat fragmentation, soil degradation, and it does alter natural ecosystems, right? So, like I said, right, children know when the mother is angry, and all hell breaks loose, or you just get grounded. Depends on the severity. But for example, if you remove mangroves or if you remove some habitat, things like that, and create homes over it, you're going to get flooded. Your home is going to get flooded because the mangroves that you just removed, like, we're protecting you from being flooded. So this is the yin and yang, right? The whole law of the universe always has like a negative, a positive, a female, a male. Someone can be bad, someone can be good, but then the good person can have bad parts, and the bad person can have some good parts. So everything is balanced in the world, right? Cold, hot, soft, hard. You can have warm. You can have like lightly cold. So everything is kind of like on a balance, and that's what I work off of. However, there are some unsolved mysteries to this day, like the Kalasa Temple in India, right? How did they remove all this rock and created this building like perfectly cut out? The Great Pyramid of Giza, we still don't know how exactly they made it. The Stonehenge in England, why are the rocks shaped in a circle, right? Geoglyphs, huge, perfectly shaped, drawn characters or animals in the desert that only can be seen from above. Right? There are some very unexplained things happening in the world that we don't really know. Can it be, were those things burned in the Library of Alexandria? Like, how did this knowledge get lost? So, Madame Curie, or Marie Skłodowska, once said that you must never be fearful of what you are doing when it is right. When I was going to an event the other day in heels and a dress, there was trash on the way out to the event. I don't care. I'm picking up that trash with my heels and throwing it out because that's a good thing to do. Like our first example in the beginning, right? Roadkill. Um, Last time I was driving in the rain and I saw a roadkill and it was someone's cat and I was devastated. I spent the whole few days thinking about how to solve roadkill, how to prevent habitat fragmentation, and the only thing I can think of is money for changing infrastructure. Right, you have to hire construction workers, like the road. But recently, I just saw in I think it was Norway or Netherlands, where they invented this kind of like light sensor system on the side of roads, where it detects an animal, like the port lights up, so that drivers can know that there's an animal ahead or near there to slow down. But of course, you need a lot of money to do that. All right. So the promised future, right? We used to not be far from having a tech life in harmony with nature. So in the early 2000s, companies portrayed their products like Microsoft here with like flowing water, birds, bubbles, right? They had a sense of pathos and nature, right? Especially here, you can see it. Microsoft, these buildings here, right? This was the promised future. When I was a kid, I saw this all the time. Um, and I'm sure everybody has seen this background before. I think it was Microsoft XP or Microsoft 7, but I'm sure everyone has seen this background of Microsoft before. Um, what are you doing here, Tony Stark? Anyway, I don't know what he was doing there. So this aesthetic is called Frutiger Arrow. And I found out from my marketing team when we were working on my company together. They said, "Oh, your company aesthetic is Frutiger Arrow." And I'm like, what? Frutiger Arrow? Like, is this a hip hop thing? And they were like, no, it's like a clean energy aesthetic. Um, and this was what I showed them. It was Akashi at my company. And this is what I saw as a kid. I don't know if we lost this, but we need this back. Right now, we need inventors back, especially in clean energy. So, a good inventor is a knowledgeable one, right? You need to have knowledge of other inventions, of other sciences, formulas, equations. Because if someone spent half of their life finding or discovering something, why would you do the same, right? So to be a good inventor is to be a good listener and to be a knowledgeable one, right? The Baghdad battery was discovered in the 1930s, but was used maybe in the 250 BC to 250 CE. So all those centuries, all those millennia of electricity that started BCE, right? Imagine what we would do with this battery if we had this knowledge throughout into the 90s, right? We didn't use electricity until the 1800s. I think this is very, very interesting. It's a good example of how knowledge is key to invention. Like our first problem example, we had potholes, but this ancient civilizations made roads like the Romans that lasted centuries to millennia, right? And they never even had to fix a pothole. So other lost inventions and lost knowledge, the Mayan calendar, they knew we had 365 days. The Greek computer was found in the 1900s again. It's over 2,200 years old, and it was an orrery, which modeled the solar system that calculates and tracks celestial time. We had so much knowledge before, it just got lost in the sauce. All right. The philosophers have only interpreted the world in various ways. The point, however, is to change it. So we have interpreted the world, we have interpreted problems, and now we have to change it, no matter who you are. Right? Anybody can be an inventor. From energy, from like engineering to chemistry to molecular, cellular, real estate, anybody else, anybody, right? Gamer, if you're a gamer, if you're a mechanical engineer, what else? Anybody really. So even Da Vinci, he had hobbies in many different areas. There's a museum in Italy that I had a very good chance to go to, and I saw all his inventions, which was from health to mechanical to aerodynamics. Right, he was trying to get buoyancy or flight, and it's just like you have to explore your mind. You can't be into one area your whole life. Right? You have to listen. You have to listen to other problems. You have to experiment. Right? Good theories lead to experimentation and observation. So, if you see a need, fill a need. Anybody watch this robots movie when they were young? I did. And references, just in case you think I'm crazy. I'm not crazy. I'm mad. I'm not crazy. And that would be it of my presentation. I think we have a few time. I can answer some questions now. All right, here's a few questions. How can curiosity lead to eco-friendly technological breakthroughs? Well, if you're curious, curiosity killed the cat, but it also discovered stuff. So, curiosity can lead you to something you probably never even thought about, right? Curiosity, if you're curious in something, you'll find out something, right? If you're not curious, what are you going to learn? Nothing. How do I say this? Not in slang. Touch grass, I guess. But yeah, if you go out and explore, just look at nature sometimes, you'll find a lot of good examples or lessons, if that answers your question. What are examples of technologies that accidentally harm sustainability? Every technology has a good and bad. A lot of things harm sustainability. For example, right now, our wind turbines are not fully eco-friendly. They create a lot of noise. They create a lot of vibrations in the earth. 5G towers, right, cause cancer, and if you live right next to it, like very high radio frequency and radiation can lead to harmful in the environment, whether it be you or animals. You can see that if someone installs a 5G tower, the animals kind of move away from it. So that's kind of accidentally harmful. What skills should future inventors develop to address global sustainable challenges? Future inventors should develop a sense of learning, listening, and observation, and as well saying how. How does this work? How does this work? How does this work? Right? If you think you sound dumb saying, "Oh, how does this work? You know, how does this toilet work?" It's not. You can find, like, there's no stupid answers. There's no stupid questions. No, none. We need to figure out a crisis prevention and a restoration for our power grids. Yep, it's good. I can show you a little example, right? Hold on. Let me go to this slide here. Tony Stark, what are you doing there? Okay, let me go to this sustainable technology slide. Okay. Right. If I was doing some lessons one day. Not lessons, physics class in school, right? So you have the earth, you have the polars, right? You have the sun, and you have, can't really see that. You really can't, can you? Need to try a different marker. The sun here. We have magnetic fields around the earth, right? We have magnetic fields around the earth. We have the north and south here, and we have the moon, right? How are we able to figure out what's the gravitational acceleration, right? Which is 9.8 meters, whatever, right? Like Newton was a genius, right? He created equations from the laws of nature, when everybody else didn't even know or even didn't think of like how to do that or like to do that, right? Why does he need to find the gravitational acceleration or the gravitational constant of like the universe? Why? I don't know, because curiosity, I guess, right? We have this equation, which is like find the acceleration of two masses or one, right? The gravitational constant is like 6.67 something, right? And this looks familiar. This looks familiar. This looks like the magnetic electric generator on the bottom here, right? If you put a magnet through a coil, it makes electrical energy. Is that what's happening on the planet? Like you have to like, is that? So there's so many equations of the universe, so many things we can solve just by looking at nature, right? We can look, there's so many unexplained events like the black hole. How do we calculate the black hole now? Now that we have all this, how do we go even further? But also we have to question, why are we going outside of Earth if we still didn't explore the rest of the ocean, right? We didn't explore the ocean, the rest of the ocean yet. I think there's like 80 or 60% unexplored. So there's just so much thinking. Sometimes I can't even sleep at night, but like, but yeah, just keep being curious. It doesn't matter if it's unnecessary like this, but just keep being curious, right? Even if you're a real estate agent and you're like, how do I solve this grass problem, or how do I solve this problem? So be curious. Always say how, and anybody can be an inventor. Thank you. Anyone have any more questions? Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I think I still have like 5 minutes. Let's see how you're a psychologist. Oh, you see, even a psychologist can say how, right? Why is he doing that? Could it be environmental factors? Could it be the type of frequency he's surrounded in? How do we calculate that? Or, for example, Nikola Tesla said that the world will become a brain, and now the world is a brain. So how can we look at that and say, how is our brains going to change now, knowing that the Earth is a brain? There's so much to talk about, so much wonder to think about. It's very interesting. Never thought in a psychology point of view. Okay. Yep. Right. Um, Da Vinci also was kind of like OG, right? He didn't think twice about going forward with something. The only weakness that I have is having too many hobbies that I leave one behind and go to the next thing and don't finish the other one. It's kind of my weakness. Right here are the potholes. Thank you, Dr. Barrow. Thank you. All right. Okay. I guess I'll leave the session now. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Really appreciate it.
Yes, Joanna, thank you so much. It was very informative session. And thank you so much for answering all the questions in the chat box, Joanna.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for your valuable time today. And please be on the backstage and join the next session, Joanna.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.